Well, hello there, motherfuckers. And I've seen a few requests to take a look at AEW Double or Nothing. The first ever pay per view from AEW, All Elite Wrestling. Now, the wrestling content has dried up as of late. I kept my word. I am not looking at any of WWE programming. I see on YouTube a few things. I clicked on the Bray Wyatt, the last segment that he did. I saw a little bit of the 24/7 championship. Good God, what I don't want to say it's a completely horrible idea, but it's a derivative idea that is being executed with maybe a quarter of the effort of the hardcore title. So, there's nothing interesting on here. I'd rather talk about the movies and video games. That type of content is interesting to me, and I feel better about putting it out, But anyway, so let's give the people what they want. I felt like doing a little discussion, a little rant on AEW again, because it's been a while. I think I did the last video back in January or February, where I talked about AEW and how I don't think that they're going to do much of a dent in the wrestling world. They're not going to get to the levels of what these so-called AEW fans are looking for. You've got JD on here already sporting his AEW shirt before it's even the thing. And that was the thing. And I don't mean to come at one person, but, he's a big representative. Many people in the YouTube wrestling community, they flock to JD. He's definitely got quite a bit of the subscribers of the YWC. So why not discuss him? So, already wearing the t-shirt before it's even a thing. So, that's the mentality that we're dealing with there. That's the herd leader of the sheep that are like flocking to this AEW nonsense. So, and the thing was, I wasn't even really following it, but I took a look at the card. I've been seeing on YouTube like crazy people are posting this. What Culture is. I'm about to unsubscribe from What Culture, seriously. Like, I don't even see a point anymore. They're such obvious AEW fanboys. And some of the people like Cody Rhodes, I think he's like good friends. Cody Rhodes competed at one of their events that they held, but whatever the What Culture, that the wrestling organization that they run, that indy joke, they think is so great. This card that they had, it didn't have anything on it that was so great that everyone is singing its praises. They're overrating it to the point where it's almost ridiculous. There was nothing on this card that was great. Like I'm saying, I didn't watch the event. I saw some clips. I saw Dean Ambrose show up as John Moxley. JR put that over big time, and that's the only thing. I'm not going to watch a whole show just to see JR commentary. But that is the one thing that this company has going for it. And it will actually help them quite a bit. See, not even TNA had an announcer as good as Jim Ross. Jim Ross could turn shit into gold by his commentating alone. That's how good he is. That's in the high regard that I hold Jim Ross. To me, no one even comes close. I mean, maybe Jesse Ventura, as far as like getting people hyped up. But JR, synonymous with my favorite era in wrestling, with the Attitude Era, of course. So, what did this event have? Let's talk about it. I don't have a list in front of me. There's nothing on the screen in front of me. I refreshed my memory just by looking at Wikipedia prior to this video. But we had, in the main event, Chris Jericho against Kenny Omega. And I'm sorry, I know Kenny Omega is very athletic and all that, but I look at Kenny Omega, and I don't know. I see a guy with curly hair. I don't see a star in Kenny Omega. He does this a lot, you know. Besides doing this with his hands, I don't really see the Kenny Omega like charisma that everyone's talking about. I'm sorry, it's just I don't know. It's a personal thing. I just don't see it. Honestly, like I told you, I got to go back again. I look at people like Elias in the WWE. I look at Bray Wyatt, and I see 10 times more charisma than that. Jericho, they're banking on Chris Jericho. And, you know, the fans always want to talk about part-timers. And, you know, they want to complain about Brock Lesnar, who's like 10 years younger than Chris Jericho. Somehow, it's bad that Brock Lesnar like won Money in the Bank, but Chris Jericho, you know, being a centerpiece for the company is just fine. I get it that like Jericho is going to be more active. He's also, you know, not doesn't have as big of an ego. And first of all, like I don't even care about like the ego thing. To me, that's actually cool for a wrestler to have an ego, because that tells me that they know they're good and that they're larger than life, and that comes with the territory. I think the problem is that I think a lot of these wrestlers, you know, they think more than what they are, but they're also way too apologetic, and they're all like concerned about showing appreciation for one another on Twitter and like, you know, shouting people out, hey, great 5-star match there. You know, there's not enough of like Brock Lesnar knowing he's good and, you know, no one's going to take his spot even though he's a part-timer. You know, you have to kind of admire that attitude. You could say, oh, that makes him an asshole, but I don't know. I think it's great. It probably shows even more that WWE needs to get more serious about building stars. I mean, I'm not even going to tread down that road. We're talking about AEW here. But the thing is, it's like Jericho is almost 50 if he's not already 50, and this is who they're banking on. And this is like a match that they've already had in the past. So, you know, but this is the rematch that everybody wants. Didn't they also wrestle another time, I thought? I don't know. But, like, this is the main event, like, of everything. Like, this whole show. And the funny thing is, they talk about changing the world. Like, I'm sorry, but, like, not even WWE used to claim that back in their heyday. Like, they would say that the world is watching, okay, because that's true. You know, they had big ratings. They also, you know, they had a lot of eyes on them, and they also would broadcast from different countries. So that would kind of make sense in a way. But to say that you're going to change the world, really? Are the Young Bucks versus Pentagon Jr. and the, you know, the other Lucha guy, is that changing the world? Is it really changing the world? Is Cody Rhodes versus his brother Goldust, which is something I would have loved to see at a WrestleMania, you know, was that changing the world? Cody Rhodes beating another 50-year-old man. Like, there was 2 matches on this card. The card was centered around 2 guys that are older. And these AEW fans are the same ones saying, oh, fuck Brock Lesnar winning the Money in the Bank. Can't wait for, you know, Double or Nothing. Double or Nothing comes along, and it's almost like the same thing, but worse, because the guys are older. So I don't see it. Sorry, guys. Jon Moxley shows up, very cool and everything, but let's be honest. I said the same thing. The guy's got potential. Might be interesting. Maybe, you know, they'll explore his character more, but they don't really seem too concerned about, you know, developing characters here. It's more about, like, having long 5-star matches, and they're gonna, you know, the funny thing is, as much as people want to complain about WWE, they cater to the indie fans, which I don't understand. Like, first of all, like, here's the thing. Why are people so unhappy about this? Was I always used to get at when I would do these reviews week after week. Why are people getting bent out of shape about the WWE product when you should actually be loving this if you're an indie fan? You got what you wanted. Seth Rollins, right? The last pay-per-view, then Seth Rollins and AJ Styles have a match. Didn't you want Kofi Kingston more than anything to win the WWE title? And I was looking. There was a lot of people who came on my WrestleMania video and said that was exactly what they wanted to see. They said that it was a great WrestleMania, that I was wrong. I called it the worst WrestleMania of all time, and that wasn't hyperbole. I actually really meant it. I had never been more bored during a WrestleMania in my fucking life. And the last couple of Manias prior to that were pretty bad as well, but, this one this year was absolutely terrible. But I'm looking at this show card, and I don't even have to watch it to tell you that this was not worth my time. This was not worth anyone's time who's, hasn't been watching the product in a while. This wasn't going to change lives. It definitely wasn't going to change the world. I'm sorry, but that really bothers me, that statement. Change the world. Like, honestly, it's fucking professional wrestling. It's a fake form of entertainment. How are guys rolling around in tights supposed to change the world? I mean, is Cody Rhodes going to change the world? Is he going to feed the hungry? Is he going to give homes to the homeless? Is he going to, provide sick people with health care? I mean, is he going to, create jobs? Is he going to right the wrongs of the world? Is he going to stop warring countries? I mean, what is this? What's Cody Rhodes going to do, as the president of AEW? I mean, it's almost like this guy thinks he's the president of the United States. Cody Rhodes, you're not the president of the United States. You're president of a wrestling company. And to say that you're going to change the world, that's such a broad, stupid, like idiotic and ignorant statement. It's like overstating things to the max. Let's stay a little grounded here. Vince McMahon never said he was going to change or take over the world. It just kind of shows that Cody Rhodes is just like a goofy kid that doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He knows he's got a famous dad, and that gives him certain privileges in the business, I guess, to be a moron without too many people questioning him. But this guy is like, you could tell, he's nothing like the dad. He's like a really like egotistical prick, and he starts fights with people online. He's very combative when people question him, because I think deep down he knows that he's not that good. I mean, honestly, like what everybody wants to see in the wrestling world right now is flips and like high spots and shit, and they want to see the Young Bucks perform and all that stuff, and matches going 1,000 miles an hour with no one selling, and people risking their lives and almost breaking their necks. And Cody Rhodes doesn't even do any of those moves. Quite frankly, he's boring in the ring. There's like nothing to this guy. No psychology, no nothing. He doesn't even look like anything. He dyes his hair blonde. Okay. Wow, what a star. No one's ever done that before. No one's ever dyed their hair platinum blonde. It's it's not like, I don't know, someone called Sting did it maybe, 30 years ago. No, I don't recall anyone by that name. I mean, and then at the end of the pay-per-view, or, towards the end of it anyway, because it wasn't the main event, Brandy Rhodes hands Cody Rhodes a sledgehammer, and then or just Cody, right? Because he's not Cody Rhodes, he's just Cody. So he's doing the Vince McMahon thing by taking away his own last name. And then there's like a throne. Then he takes and it's supposed to be Triple H's throne with the Triple H cross logo, and he slams like the sledgehammer onto it. It doesn't like even damage it or anything like that, and it's like supposed to be symbolic, like taking the fight to WWE. And I'm like, oh god, I mean, really, like, that's so lame. And people are like, yeah, they're taking the fight to him, like. Oh my god. Talk about cringy. Talk about just like nerdy and goofy and just plain dumb. I mean, if anything needed to cement my, like, downright hatred for wrestling right now, and my complete lack of interest and not wanting to make videos on it and talk about it anymore, this was it. I mean, the brief clips I saw and the results and just the card, like, even, probably to me, like, the most talented guy, like, the guy that had the most potential to, that was scheduled to be on the show, even bailed out at the last minute because he probably realized how, complete shit this whole thing was going to be. And that was Pac, the former Neville in WWE, who I sang the praises of when he was, the Cruiserweight Championship. The perfect build, the perfect look, great mic skills. I said this guy, I meant it, could have been a world champion had they built him right. If Seth Rollins, if Finn Balor could have been a WWE champion or a Universal champion, then to tell me that Neville couldn't have, I mean, you'd be lying. You'd be being really dishonest saying that the guy didn't deserve the same type of treatment. So this AEW pay-per-view, they something like it was like 12,000 people who went, but like Cody Rhodes like inflated the numbers on purpose to take a shot at WWE. Those things are so lame. It's like, first of all, when WCW used to take shots at WWE, like they were popular, they actually like had an advantage over them. When WWE used to take shots at WCW, it used to be deemed pathetic. When TNA did it, remember how they did it with like Road Dogg and Billy Gunn with it, when they were like the Voodoo Kin Mafia, and they tried to replicate the same like WDX invading WCW, at the Norfolk Scope type of thing, and how badly it bombed. That this was like very similar. Oh my God, they're taking like, who cares? Honestly, like, it's childish bullshit at this point. It doesn't even matter. The product sucks. No one's interested in wrestling. It's considered to be lame and stupid and just not worth anyone's time. There's too many other forms of entertainment that are more worth our time. Too many shows and movies and video games to play. And this garbage like eats up too much time. Unless you're watching classic shit, why even bother with this garbage? It doesn't even make any sense to spend, any time at all on it. And if you're looking at AEW, if you were looking at Double or Nothing, I mean, it's just clear. It's like, I didn't even need to watch this show, and I know people are going to say, oh, you can't fairly judge unless you watch it. Nothing happened. It was just a show with a bunch of matches. Jon Moxley showed up. Cody Rhodes hit a hammer onto a throne. He beat his brother. He killed the Attitude Era. They already killed the Attitude Era long ago. You didn't need Cody Rhodes to beat a 50-year-old man to say that. I mean, honestly, like, we're talking about the Attitude Era that ended almost 20 years ago. And it's not even in the same company and they're talking about it. Like, honestly, like, if another, in order for them to get views and an audience, when the other company has to mention the history of another company to get that angle over, you've already lost. The thing is, it's not even a real company yet. This is a pay-per-view that they put out. They have nothing. They don't even have a world title. They had a battle royal to determine that. For some reason, the AAA tag titles were on the line in the Young Bucks match. Why? This isn't AAA. Like, okay, I get it. They want to make like TNA, the open door policy and everything like that. Garbage. Who cares about that stuff? That's not gonna attract people. The only people that they're gonna attract is the indie fans. Ooh, because it's counterculture. It's something alternative to WWE. Where have I seen this before, guys? Like I said in my previous AEW video that I did, that everyone, got all bent out of shape about, and many people agreed with me, the people who kind of like in the same boat as me have been watching for years and could kind of call a spade when they see it. This is the same thing like TNA. It's the same thing like TNA. They came along. Now, okay, granted, they're in a bigger arena than TNA. TNA started off in the Asylum, which was really small and everything. So, you know, they're kind of starting a bit bigger. There's more money behind it from the offset. But remember, you know, the Spike TV deal, they started funneling a lot of money into TNA. They started touring around. They started performing in bigger arenas. And people were like, oh my God, they got a few indie guys. People came in from Ring of Honor, Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, and, you know, and then people were saying like, oh my God, you know, and remember, that's where the This Is Awesome chant started. It started in TNA, folks. And that is when everything just completely went to shit, you know, because it was an alternative, and because it was an alternative, everything was great. And then when people realized that TNA was really complete garbage and they lost pretty much all the support, everyone hightailed it back to the WWE, and that's where the fans started doing their This Is Awesome thing. So there's a little history lesson for you. That's what I think of the AEW pay-per-view. Good for Dean Ambrose getting out of WWE, but all I could say is I hope they're paying him more. And, you know, I hope it was worth it, you know, to take that gamble. But, you know, AEW, I'll tell you something. They definitely don't look like, okay, maybe they're not changing the world. They're not going to change anything in the wrestling business. It's going to just be just that. A glorified indie company that's going to be concerned with like catering to the fans and doing everything that the fans want. The minute the fans start booing somebody, they're going to, you know, demote that star and then start pushing others, you know, based on the crowd reaction. Like basically like what you saw at Kofi Kingston, they're going to be doing that with everybody, because they're going to be like, they're concerned with getting people into the arenas to see these shows, because they're going to be really desperate, you know, for revenue. So they're going to like want to please everybody. They're not concerned about like how WWE used to be, like getting all sorts of people to watch the show, you know, even like the non-wrestling fans, by, you know, doing like the comedy and the dramatics and everything. So like I said, there's no possible way that this is going to be anything good or worth my time or worth your time. You know, it's worth your time if you like indie wrestling and you're enjoying like the WWE product, and you know, you're a big you know, indie fan, like you'll love it probably. Then you should probably, when AEW gets their deal with TNT, which is a good deal, you know, TNT, it's what Nitro used to be on, and that's what everyone's saying, which is not helping the comparisons between them and WCW, by the way. But you know, that if that's what you're into and you enjoy it, more power to you. You know, I don't care at this point. I'm not gonna knock you if you enjoy watching that. If that's what excites you, you know, and you know that's what tickles your fancy, that's what floats your boat, and go ahead, watch it. I don't care. I'm not gonna watch it, so it doesn't matter to me. So there you go, guys. I don't think there's going to be a wrestling video for a while. There's nothing really worth talking about. I already gave my thoughts. The 24/7 title, okay, you know, I don't really care. It's, you know, it's nothing that's changing anything. It's just another day at the office, basically, for, you know, for that company. Anyway, guys, there you go. AEW looks like a pile of garbage. Doesn't look like it's going to amount to much. And if you disagree, then you disagree, and I guess I'm a goofball, and, you know, you're a genius because you watch a glorified indie company, I guess. Anyway, guys, hope you all enjoyed the video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Check out some of the other gaming videos. Check out the recent video I did on the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. More interesting topics, things that are really changing the world. Oh. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.